C.C. O'Brien's, my local Irish sports cafe. C.C. O'Brien's, I'm gonna hang out there all day. C.C. O'Brien's, 20 TVs to watch the game. C.C. O'Brien's, C.C. O'Brien's, C.C. O'Brien's.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Westerly Sports Talk. My name is Ben Barber, and I'm very excited because next week is the Super Bowl and our New England Patriots. I mean, you might not be a New England Patriot. Are you a Patriots fan? You're not a Patriots fan, are you?
No, I'm not. But my wife
Giants,
is a diehard Patriot fan. I mean, don't go in the room and bother her or even root against her because she could take it out on me in ways that
So, well, how do you feel about the fact that the Patriots are in the Super Bowl again?
Well, I mean, yeah, they got kind of lucky, but at the end of the game or the middle, I think there was a little bit, but I
feel like God was sending snow from heaven to make it harder for the Broncos so that the Patriots could fulfill their destiny as their dynasty, but more importantly, fulfill their destiny as making me right in my prediction before the season started.
I heard you that.
They all laughed at me in the other room. They all laughed at me in the other room.
They're giving you a hard time. I know.
I predicted two things before the year. I predicted that the Bulldogs would win the Super Bowl, and I predicted that the Patriots would be in the Super Bowl. Not predicting anything more than that.
Right. Okay. Well, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel will be easily coach of the year as well, going from where they win 3 games last year.
Yeah.
To go into the Super Bowl. So
yeah, you got to. Yeah, we could talk a little bit about that. How about the Belichick thing? And but this is why I don't. And my wife has rooted for the Giants since we met. Since 2006, where they were 0-2. The Giants were 0-2. And the Patriots, they were on fire that year. They were 18-0, and she said, "Hon, I'm predicting that the Giants are going to win it all." I said, "You got to be kidding me! They're playing terrible." Well, anyway, they not only went on to get in the Super Bowl, but they won the Super Bowl. But listen, I just for the folks out there, it's not. And I think Ron probably feels the same way, Coach. I was a Patriot fan most of my life. I mean, I'm sure I'm a Giant fan, a big Giant fan, but I also was rooting for the Patriots, and I really liked them. I mean, I think I even went to a couple of games, but it was like the people that all of a sudden became Patriot fans, and they just became out of nowhere. Where was all this back in the 70s and when I was rooting for the Patriots and you guys didn't even know that the Patriots existed? So that's one of the reasons.
So it's similar to me. I mean, when I was, I went to college in Framingham State in Massachusetts. I was there when they won their first Super Bowl, so it was a huge thing. I remember, even a small school like Framingham, like all the students kind of went outside after the Super Bowl, had the little, in the city they're like turning over cars and stuff. We just kind of stood outside in the cold, but. It seemed like everybody. So I was real excited back then. Now I don't know if it part of it was because I wasn't a huge Belichick fan. He definitely deserved to be in the Hall of Fame though. So that was kind of ridiculous that he didn't get in on the first ballot. But
yeah.
I was never a Belichick fan, and kind of all the fair weather fans coming out kind of turned me off a little bit. But then as coaching, getting more involved in more responsibilities in coaching here at the high school in baseball and football, that I don't know, it's kind of lost interest in them. I do root for players though. I play fantasy football, so I watch college a lot and follow players through college, and Mike Vrabel I always actually liked as a player, and he's a great coach. So I actually am rooting for them a little bit. Just pretty much go for the players and the coaches, and more for.
They had some very good. They had some very good players, Ben and Coach Ron.
I was going to say I didn't play for the Patriots.
No, but they had some really good players that Ty Law. Lawyer
Oh, yeah,
Malloy,
yeah.
Ty
They're great.
Law, good defenses.
And the similarities between that 2001 team and this team is how good the defense is, because both had young quarterbacks. Tom Brady was a
Yeah.
first year quarterback, and starter that actually wasn't even a starter. He came in for Drew Bledsoe, the hurt Drew Bledsoe, and I'm pretty sure the spread is the exact same too in the game, with Seattle being somewhat big favorites, not too big for a Super Bowl.
I think they're
Big for a
big.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think it's under a touchdown, but around a touchdown, which is a lot for a Super Bowl. But
And Brady wasn't Brady.
no, not yet. No, he kind of managed.
Well, the
game
first
and-
Super Bowl he did it just enough to win that first Super Bowl against St. Louis.
Yeah. What an offense they had, and they really
Did
the
just
Patriots
enough.
defense came out and did a great job. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right,
Kurt,
Ben.
Kurt
Man,
Warner and
you're right
all
in
those
there.
guys. Marshall Faulk, right?
I never
Marshall
thought.
Faulk hates the Patriots.
I never
because of
thought.
that.
I never thought the Patriots were going to beat them in that Super Bowl.
That was pretty amazing. I just remember how, cause I remember the '95 Super Bowl when Bledsoe got them there and they lost to the Packers. So I remember how like intense those games are. As an eighth grader, I remember taking was that eighth grade? No, yeah, it was eighth grade. I was taking like confirmation classes or something. I remember CCD on Sunday when they were in the semifinal game there, and I just remember how nervous and exciting it was. Like almost like you're a player.
Oh, definitely.
So it's hard having that feeling as a fan now. I mean, I still get it sometimes during the high school games I'm coaching, but it's hard to get that excited over people I don't really know. I mean, it's kind of weird when you think about it, getting so upset when your team loses, when you really have no personal, connection to these guys at all. But
I feel the same way about Drake May. He's starting to light that fire somewhat, but that year that they did win the Super Bowl, Brady was just like Ben said, he really hadn't come into his own, but you could see that though he was gonna be a good
he never made a lot of mistakes through his whole career. That stayed consistent.
That's what I was.
He didn't throw many. He didn't throw many interceptions. He didn't really take chances. You have Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, and even Elway won a couple of Super Bowls too. But a lot of those guys tried to make things happen more. Especially and when Tom was younger, he didn't really do that as much. He kind of managed the game, let his defense did a tremendous job, but he didn't really throw many interceptions. He didn't try to do things that were kind of high risk.
He didn't lose the game, and with Belichick, was Belichick? He was coaching then, right? Yeah. He was coaching. So here's the deal with
something like that. It was close. It was because it was
hired by the Jets
after Pete Carroll.
Out of the Jets.
Yeah.
No, he was definitely coaching at that
Kind
point.
of funny. People think he should have gotten to the Hall of Fame because he won a playoff game with the Browns.
Yeah. Now, this is what my Patriot friends keep forgetting that we're talking about. We're back to Belichick now.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest game he ever coached was not with the Patriots. It was with the Giants. Now, hear me out.
Yeah, he was defensive coordinator, right?
Jim Kelly. Yeah, he was a defensive guy.
Won a Super Bowl.
He was Parcells' right-hand man.
Yeah.
That was his. He was his boy. And okay, so in 1992, the Buffalo Bills were still like they are now. They couldn't win a Super Bowl.
Scott Norwood missed field goal.
Scott Norwood and Jim Kelly was the quarterback.
Yeah.
But Phil Simms had gotten hurt, and they put in Hostetler.
Jeff Hostetler.
Put in Hostetler, and everyone forgets that.
And he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I said, you guys better be careful because it could happen again. But anyway, Belichick devised a defense in 1992 in that Super Bowl. He devised a defense. He only rushed 2 men. Right, but sometimes they would rush 2, sometimes 2 from this angle, 2 from this angle, and it was unbelievably canny the way he did it.
Yeah, but if one of the men that you're rushing is LT, it counts as
I know, right?
And the other, yeah, right. I was going to say that the other guy wasn't bad either. Carl Banks. And they had two good interior linebackers too.
When they won those later Super Bowls, it was the defensive line. They didn't have to blitz much. Was it Tuck there? Justin Tuck was one of them.
Oh, when they beat the Patriots.
Yeah, later on, their defensive line caused so much havoc. They didn't have to blitz.
But that was the one. The game that I'm thinking of is talking about is Belichick.
Yeah, that early one.
Yeah, he came and he was unbelievable. And they still almost lost that game.
Yeah,
If
that field goal,
Norwood doesn't miss that field goal, could have been a different
It's
story.
tough for the Bills. I can't really get in there 4 times in a row and losing.
And then how about and then another one?
Yeah, and then you don't even get close really until recently. And yeah, they've had some problems getting to that game. I think we all know the feeling. We lost in the semifinals.
Let's see if we can.
About 6-7 times in the past 10 years, Westerly. So.
Yeah, Westerly High School.
Most of them were
Bulldogs.
St. Ray's. We lost to St. Ray's probably 5 times in the semifinals in the past 8 years.
Greg Morano played in one of those St. Rayfield games.
Yep. My freshman year, we didn't dress or anything, but we went to the games. So I remember that season very clearly. That Super Bowl season. It was the funny thing about that Super Bowl against St. Ray's was that our punter, Mike Peterson. Mike Peterson was the MVP of that game. He must have.
He was the punter.
He was
the MVP.
I think we punted 9 times, and we didn't do anything offensively. But we punted 9 times, and he had a hell of a foot. Like when he kicked extra points toward D'Angelo's at home, he would kick him into the road, and that's how big a foot he had. So punting. I remember him being. I think he went into the military. I thought Army actually recruited him out. He didn't play in college though, but he was a military guy. But he was the MVP, and then the biggest play of the game was Roger Shawn on a punt return. And I was actually just talking to their current head coach, Mike Sassy, who was the defensive coordinator at that time, because we were setting up a
St. Ray's, you mean?
Yeah, so because he was setting up, we had an open week, so we're playing St. Ray's this year, and we got into talking for a minute about that. I told him I was, a freshman on that team, whatever, and he was the defensive coordinator he was talking about, and he was telling his head coach to take a safety in that situation. Because we were down 6-0 or 6-3. We were down, and they wanted to take a safety to make it 6-5 with a couple minutes left. And instead of St. Ray's taking the safety, they punted.
So you were down. We were down. You kicked the field goal. He kicked the field goal.
Yeah, because we won 9-6. So we were down. 3.
I was at the game.
Yeah, we were down 6.
It snowed and then it rained and sleeted. Remember?
We were down 6-3 or something, and they punted from inside their own 10-15 yard line, and Roger Shawn had a 35, 40 yard punt return. Down to the 3, he got knocked out. He actually got knocked out cold. He got clobbered. He got destroyed. Yeah, and he was out cold for a minute. But he set up the game-winning touchdown with a few minutes left. I can't remember who scored it. I'm assuming it had to be Luke or
it was Luke Arnold,
most likely.
I think he may have. But there was another guy that
Eric Gatchon was the sophomore running back, fullback that filled in.
The guy down at McQuaid's.
No, different Eric Gatchon, but. I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a huge 4 kids got kicked off the team because of they went to a dance and got in trouble there.
Alcohol.
Yeah, and
I do remember
some of the other
that.
guys had to fill in, which is pretty amazing that the team overcame that type of event happening. And they did Eric Gatchon came in as a sophomore, after 3 games of the season and just filled in at fullback, which in the wing T. In the wing T, the fullback is one of the most important positions. So in the other, it was Jacob Lamb, it was Eric Gatchon, and it was
Jacob start off.
He was a halfback. Yeah, he started that year. He was a junior. He started at least his junior and senior year.
Okay,
because he was the starting running back.
He was a great athlete.
He was he was quick. The following year, they got to the Super Bowl again, but they lost to South Kingston.
Yeah, the same
with Mike Wilson there.
Mike Wilson.
So,
there's a lot. It seems like there's a lot of Mike Wilsons up in South Kingston.
That's his son.
That's his son, right?
Yeah, playing basketball right now. I think. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, Mike was unbelievable. I went to that game too. That Super Bowl. It was so freaking cold. I could ever. It was so cold.
It's weird because I don't. Some of those games from back then, the only one I remember being extremely cold was that same freshman year was Thanksgiving, because we were able to dress. It was the first game freshmen dressed that year.
Okay.
And I remember warming up and the field was just frozen solid.
Over in Stonington?
No, Westerly. And
wait a minute.
After warm up, it was 96. After warm ups, the the varsity guys, they had to go change their cleats into sneakers because it was like playing on
sliding
concrete.
around. Yeah, sliding around.
But
sliding.
that game was cold, and I remember we played in a playoff game 2017 in Pawtucket against Shea. And
I missed that one.
It was actually a big upset. They were favored, and we ended up
Yeah.
beating them pretty good. It was like 37-13 or something.
Yeah.
And that game was 7 degrees. I remember our trainer Lisa Yoon.
Man, you got a good memory.
Our equipment manager, she had like her mouth was like frozen to it was so bad how cold that was. And big win though. And then the Thanksgiving Day game in 2018 was like 5 degrees. So
2018,
that was when there was like hardly anybody there. It was 60-0 probably at halftime, pretty much. But
that's right. I do remember
pretty much every other game around the state was canceled except for ours.
There was another game that was played after a big snowstorm. It was speaking of Brian Lynch in that crew.
Brian. Great athlete.
And that was I think Coach Moreno got the guys out and they shoveled the field.
Oh well, Lynch would have been with Coach Reed.
Oh, Reed, okay.
Because that was right after me. That was
yeah.
That was 2000. Yeah.
And who was the other running back? He was really good
that year. That same like
era? Yeah. That was big. That was a big. Even though it was blustery and cold and snowy, it still had a big crowd there.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Couldn't watch it on TV yet.
No, they didn't. There was no such thing as 3, 2, 1
yet.
Hey, we don't take away from the.
It's all right.
That one Thanksgiving where everybody was like, "Oh, let's not go out in the month."
We're talking about the Westerly Super Bowls, and it just brings back a lot of memories. And Coach Spizzato here has got a lot of those memories tucked away, man. I still remember a lot of them, but you got me beat.
There's certain things I remember a lot of. There's a lot of things I forget too, but there's certain things that kind of make an impact on you. You kind of remember. So yeah.
Either I was playing or my brother John was playing. You remember John, and he was a fullback with Joe Mixie and the Gatchon kid. Then there was another running back, Jimmy Conforti, who played at Colgate.
Oh wow, nice.
Jimmy he was good. He was good up there. And another guy that played up at Colgate was Steve Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Morgan, he was a sophomore when I was a senior, so he was like,
It was a Brent Morgan on my team.
Yeah.
I think Steve might have been his uncle.
Yeah, it could be.
Or cousin.
And Steve was the starting running back for Colgate. And then I think it was his senior year. He got hurt, and so the guy that was filled in for him was please God, don't let me forget this one, because he was on our show so many times that I was going to put a bet up. Kid from Cranston. So I can't remember his name. We'll think of it in a second. He filled in for Steve, and then Steve never made it back on the field.
Oh wow, yeah, kind of like that. That was like what was that?
Mark Van Egan,
a Lou Gehrig type of deal, huh?
Mark Van Egan.
Yeah.
After he graduated from Colgate,
he went to the NFL. Didn't he?
He got drafted by the Raiders.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Raiders at the Raiders. Now I don't know whether I think the freshmen were allowed to play. I forget what I said. He got drafted by the Raiders either the 6th or 7th round, and then the Raiders won the Super Bowl twice, I think, with him, Mark Van Egan, as a running back. And the first year they won it, he was the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, wow.
Right. The following year, he was the leading rusher. It could have been leading rusher, whatever it was. He was fantastic, really good guy. And when we were over at WBLQ, we would have him on the show, and he told us a story about Ken Stabler. You remember Ken Stabler, left-handed quarterback?
Yeah. Did he finish his career with the Patriots or something? Didn't he go to the?
Well, Van Egan did too. And maybe
Right.
Stabler did too. Maybe Stabler.
He went somewhere after the Raiders when he was old.
So he was a character, Stabler, and he set his own rules.
Yeah.
So the coach was John Madden. So Madden, they're playing the Jets. They got a Saturday morning meeting outside the stadium, and so Madden says, "Oh, hey, Snake." He says, "Hey, Snake." He says, "Man, you're early today." Early. He says, "I'm just getting in." So those are the good old days. But the guys were there's a
I know
different,
that's like
different kind of a.
it's,
Couldn't do that with the Patriots now,
I know,
or even the
right?
Giants.
When we used to have double sessions, back when it was kind of worth having. Now with the interscholastic league rules for sports now, like you get 3 hours a day, like outside, so it's kind of not really worth it having double sessions.
There are no double sessions anymore?
No. Well, we might lift and then have practice, but yeah, we're not outside twice.
Coach, can I come back?
I know, right? Yeah. The only time we kind of we're close to is when we we're at our camp, because we're right there, and you can just walk right out with our pads on and practice. So we have a couple double sessions during our camp.
It's probably a good thing,
I was getting at something though.
Well, anyway, let me tell you. It was so bad. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but all I remember is that by the fourth or fifth practice, I was so sore I couldn't even lift my shoulders or anything.
Okay.
Everybody was in the same boat. We were all sore because we weren't used to doing double sessions. It was unreal.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, because we would have to. Coach Reed would have us in there. Even as a coach, I was more of a coach at this time, but volunteer early on, and we'd have to be there at like 5:30. It'd be like cut it. I used to joke around that I was cutting into my cutting my night short because we had to be there so early.
One of these days, we got to get Coach Reed. I know he's very shy, and he lost his wife now, and just get him to come on here, and even if we did it,
Yeah, it'd be definitely nice to get past coaches on here. Coach Reed would be great. He won 2 Super Bowls, and been to another one, and he was an assistant for another couple.
I thought he was the one more than 2.
3, yes, 3. Yep, 80.
Challenging my
90,
memory.
Yeah, no, it's 3. 96, 2000, 2001. Yep.
Yeah.
So he's got three Super Bowls, and he was an assistant for the 85 and 91 one, I think.
And also we
joke around the 91 doesn't count because it's Division 3.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Westerly had some good players, even though it was Division 3. They had really good players, and don't forget his baseball prowess. You were the precursor of Coach Reed.
Yeah.
He was coaching football and baseball.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure had a little bit influence on me. He was a great coach and motivator. The funny thing is, football wise, if he with adapting and all that, if he had some coordinators later on in his career, there's a chance he probably could still be coaching now. But that was pretty much kind of the downfall a bit. But he
graduated from URI. He was a baseball first guy.
Right? Yeah, it was baseball.
Either New York or New Jersey. I'm not sure.
New York. Like Long Island, I think.
Yeah, and some of his best buddies played for the Hilltops. Bob Anderson and the other guy, the catcher Bob Maxey. They were URI stars.
Yeah, baseball was his number one sport. He was a great pitcher. He had Tommy John surgery after. He used to show us his big scar.
Right.
But what he used to do he coached he was the head coach of the baseball team for a real long time. His first year was like 1980, 80 or 81 or something.
And
he would put his team into the Twilight League. My dad said they would get crushed all the time, but they would get a ton of experience playing against the adults.
Well, speaking of that,
competition.
The guy that knows both of those guys and played in the Cape Cod League was George Greer.
Yeah.
I mean, George, he got asked to be in the Twilight League playing for Hilltops when he was 15, and
wow.
I mean, I did the same thing, and Dave Erskine, Doug Erskine, and Randy Wentz, but George was the precursor, and he was the best. I mean, George is the best. He would have been.
Too bad there isn't like there wasn't games like recorded back then, especially baseball. I'm sure there's some football hanging around.
I mean,
but it would have been great to see, like George.
Born,
I know, right?
I had to
would have been great to see George Greer swing. You know, I saw some of those guys.
He
Well,
still got the swing.
We hear all these stories, and a lot of, you know, and I did too, because my father played with him, but I never actually got to see it. But you hear all these stories and how you know.
I'm sure George is listening right now. I bet you $100 he's listening.
I'm pretty sure he would come close to hitting him up on the front yard of the school, right? Same thing with Leach, right, Mr. Leach.
I think he hit one onto the front, which is now not the quad,
the farther past.
Yeah, where the telephone pole is.
Yeah, like 400 feet. I believe it though. I mean, going making it all the way to AAA, and he probably would have made the. This is coming from my story from my father, so. Probably would have made the MLB, but St. Louis was so good back then, making the World Series all the time, and that they didn't have a lot of spots to fill. And it wasn't like today where they trade all the time and free agency. You know, that it wasn't as big back then. So
no, just to give you some of Kurt Flood, Lou Brock, go on and on. Those guys were like some Hall of Famers. Ben mentioned the greatest show on turf, but that St. Louis Cardinal team was the absolute best. How about the pitcher they had? Not Kurt Gibson, Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson, he was amazing. Yeah.
Well, they had to lower the mound because he had so much of an advantage.
There's some old pictures of him, and he was a big guy. Like, he was tall, he was muscular looking, and never saw him actually, in a play, but I see ton of pictures all the time of him, and he was a big guy. Like, you see, you don't realize how big like major league players are even back then, and how size, is like the pitchers, the legs are like tree trunks. Roger Clemens' legs were humongous. So
Clemens, that's right.
But speaking with our guys right now, our football guys are lifting right now, and that's how important it is in all sports. Our football guys are lifting right now. I have Mike and Cherry kind of running it for me. So
that's really something I think the folks out there don't realize how the sports have changed.
Yeah, you definitely have to be in the weight room getting yourself stronger, faster. It keeps you healthier. You know what I mean? The stretching and just the weightlifting in general makes you more less susceptible to injuries. And
we lifted weights, but we didn't do it on a basis where
it's much more science involved now. And
all the guys that were starters on the football team, it wasn't so much baseball. But
it was all relative.
Football was all big, all the big guys, Barato and DiMaggio, and they all lifted weights, and they were
because it's
crazy.
It's easy to say that, like today's teams, say like the worst team in the NFL today, like say the Browns or something. Sorry about the Giants, but the Browns or the Giants. If these guys played like say the 1969 Packers or something, obviously it would be the team now would win by like 100 points. But if you put them in the same era, and it's not happening,
right?
You know what I mean? Because if that Packer team, if it was modern day, they'd be lifting too. You can't put a team that has 260-pound offensive linemen going against a 300-pound. The whole defensive line is 300 pounds, when the average lineman back in the 60s was like 265 pounds.
The Giants had two guys that I think one was Rosie Brown and one was Rosie Greer was the real big one. And he went to the Rams after, but he was like 275 pounds, and everybody thought that was huge. Yeah.
Remember the refrigerator Perry? He was like 300 pounds, and they thought he was a monster.
I know.
Now there's like guys at 350 in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Super Bowl, I just want to remind everyone. I think Ben reminded you at the beginning of the show that we will be at CC O'Brien's next Sunday, 2 to 4. It's going to be like it's going to be the 20th year in a row that we had. The first 2 years we were at the Hilltop, and then I don't know what happened. We broke. There was something in between, and then I went. I think what it was I changed jobs, and I went from the Hilltop to CC's because when I changed jobs with the town of Westerly, I was a director of purchasing and operation officer. There was too many guys that were after my scalp, because all of a sudden they weren't getting all those jobs, those cushy jobs that so I used to go to CC's, and I got friends with Carolyn and Sean, and they said, "Hey, how about doing a Super Bowl?" Yep. So this will be our 20th year, something like that, in that vicinity, and it's a lot of fun. people come down, they have lunch, they shoot the breeze, they come and give predictions, scores, and hey, anyone's open to come and give your opinion, opinion as far as who you think when you think that the Patriots were lucky. I don't think the Patriots were lucky. I just think that Vrabel has done a really, really good job with him. He's a fantastic coach, and I wish that the Giants had him.
Yeah, I mean, things went their
We got
way,
hotball,
but any team that wins or gets to a Super Bowl, I'm sure they had a few bounces go their way. Because of the 3 wins last year, the schedule was a little easier this year. So I get something like the win percentage of their opponents was like under 500, and then you get lucky with Denver losing their quarterback.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just going to say that.
But think things happen though. I mean,
think they would have won?
I mean, they probably would have had a good chance. I mean, Bo Nix has definitely had a pretty decent season, and that's tough for Stidham to come in like that and take him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so
he kind of
had things go their way.
He coughed it up at the end. That's what happened. He did. Ron, we got to tell the truth. I mean, somebody said, "Well, you're a Giant fan. You don't like the Patriots." Well, I did like the Patriots. I was a Patriot fan before most of the Patriot fans were Patriot fans. But anyway, you know what I like about the Patriots winning and being in a Super Bowl? It's good for this area.
It gets everybody talking.
People get excited. It's good for businesses.
It is.
It's of which we're a part of here. So it's good for the whole area, and it gets everybody excited. And what's his name? May. M-A-Y. Yeah, May is.
He's excited for him. He's young.
Young guy.
A lot of future left with him.
Now you've got the Seattle Seahawks that no one is really mentioning, but they're a tough team.
Defense too. Two good defenses because Sam Darnold, he's been around, right? He's been on 6 or 7 NFL teams. He was drafted by the Jets, and
the Jet fans hated him.
Played for Minnesota
They
for
hated the guy.
But
now he's in the Super Bowl, right? Would they trade Donald now for the guy that they got? I think they would.
It's always funny though when the media kind of always will pit the 2 quarterbacks going at each other, be like Manning versus Brady and all that. When it really has nothing to do with them 2. I mean, the defenses have something to do with it. There's 50 other people on the team. There's coaches. So it's kind of funny when I know. So, but did you saw the game last night, right? It's the basketball game.
I did. We talked about the basketball game.
Yeah.
I saw the whole thing from start to finish. Really, I never didn't miss a play or whatever you want to call it. Westerly's got to get over this hump of starting hot. They come out hot.
Mm-hmm.
They go up by 8, 10, 12 points, and all of a sudden they go into the doldrums.
Yeah,
they were ahead most of the game last night.
Yeah, a couple too many turnovers.
Really hurt them.
Every now and then, it is high school basketball. Obviously, I mean, I'm sure every team's going to take shots that that are low percentage sometimes, and people, taking some threes that probably shouldn't. And from a person that's not really too much of a basketball guy, I just think too many turnovers, and I don't think they stopped the ball too well. I remember being playing like freshman year, and then I didn't play anymore. I played youth league and all that. And I remember, stopping the ball carriers like one of the biggest things to do when you're on defense. And I don't think they did a great job at stopping the ball and getting that number 4. I wish I knew his name from Mount Pleasant, but he was amazing last night, man. He must have had 35 points. You're shooting threes, and he could take it inside.
He was tall too, wasn't he?
It's tough too. I was trying to gauge his height when he stood next to Caleb. They were pretty similar. He's got to be like maybe just a hair shorter. I think he must have been like 6'3", close to 6'4". Jaden Anson, yes.
28 points.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, he was good.
Very good player. Yeah,
but Wesley had some good chances too. It wasn't like they could have beat him. But
definitely, for sure.
But as one of my old coaches used to say, coulda, woulda, shoulda. They'll get you nothing unless you win.
And just being in Division I, by the way, is a huge feat for basketball. Like if they're in Division II, like losing games and stuff, but being in Division I with the enrollment we have, Mount Pleasant's been a perennial like Division I basketball team. So. Even with the losses they have, like the 3 losses they have are to very good teams, the top 2 teams they lost to, and then Mount Pleasant, who's really close in the standings to them. The only thing that's keeping them down right now is the lack of wins against high Division I teams, because they're still in 7th place, which is great. Out of like there's like 18 teams in Division I, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't down them at all.
But yeah, they're in great position for a playoff spot, and
They almost beat Barrington.
oh yeah, Barrington.
Yeah.
I think they're undefeated. One of them's still undefeated. So they're right there with those best
feel
teams.
Like
So
last night got away from them. One thing that I will say about the Bulldogs is that they've been really good at being clutch all year long. Maybe they've gotten themselves into situations where they needed to be clutch, with the hot starts and then falling off in the middle. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I have seen a lot of end of games, right? Because sometimes I won't be producing, I'll be, overseeing other games and stuff. And then Dave will text me, "Hey, we got a barn burner over here in Westerly." Like,
yeah, definitely.
And what I've seen a lot is a lot of end of the game comebacks, or winning at the last moment. They had it tied 54-54 last night at one point in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You could visibly see the frustration on their faces, and I think it could be a chicken and the egg thing with the the officiating, right? Like, were those bad calls? Were they bad moments that the Bulldogs let themselves get frustrated in that moment and made bad decisions? I mean, we saw a lane violation on a free throw at one point last night.
Yeah.
Like, after a whole bunch of other stuff had happened. So
there was a couple other things too, Ben, that puzzled me though.
Overall, they're very clutch.
Coaches that the technical foul.
Yeah, what
was that about?
That was
a big play.
That was big because toward the end it was like a 4 or 5. I think it was a 5-point game at that time, and it was about a minute and 40 something left, and definitely time to come back, and that definitely really put them, behind everything. And toward the end of the game there too is and it happens in football too, because I remember the Central game early on we had some bad officiating, and it gets the whole sideline and everything. It's kind of chaotic. We're more focused on that, and that last like minute and a half, it seemed like the players were a little not focused enough on getting the job done, what they had to do, and they were getting a little more aggressive, and there was another foul on it could have gone either way because it was tied up toward the end there with Antouch, and they called him on like an elbow or something, trying to get away from the Mount Pleasant defenders. But yeah, it seemed like they were just they kind of went off the rails a little bit at the end, and a little too much on not panic, but you know what I mean, when everything's kind of going haywire. Frustration.
Everybody in the
so yeah. So
I texted Luzzy and said, "Hey man, calm down a little bit."
Yeah.
Calm down a little bit.
So yeah, you could definitely see the frustration that last couple minutes. It was definitely frustration. Took them out of their game a little bit, and that technical foul really hurt because they made one of them, but they also kept the ball. And when there's only a minute, when there's a minute 40 left, that's another 25 seconds. That's
a 4-point game with free throws.
Yeah,
basketball. A 4-point game becomes an 11-point game, and then it looks like you lost by quite a bit when really it was the last minute.
It was a close game, man.
And they really depended on like that. I noticed Mount Pleasant didn't really use a lot of players. I think they only played like 7 kids, right?
Yeah,
they didn't sub much.
They didn't sub much.
Got hurt at the end. Free throw, and I was like, why isn't he going out? And then I looked at the bench and I was like,
they didn't have many guys out there. They probably don't have a lot of depth. Because some teams are like that too. Like I remember the Stonington team back when I was in high school with Alex Jensen. It's a big name. He was a good football player. He ended up being top 5 in Connecticut scoring for high school, which is pretty amazing. He had like 2,500 points. Like usually the 1,000-point mark is big. He had over 2,000 points, and he would never come out of a game. You know what I mean? They would barely sub. Like when you have a player that good and when he's not in the game, and then your team isn't the same. You know what I mean? So some teams just don't have the luxury of subbing where Westerly does. I mean, Brent does a great job of getting players in, and there's a lot of role players on that team. I love seeing Landon in there coming in and for rebounds, and Danny Cummings gets in there, and Anthony Rodriguez gets some time, and it's great seeing Ferris back. Nader, I think he starts again, right? He had the injury there, and
he's
great
really good.
Back. Yeah, so
I think he led the team Yeah, he led the team last night, 21 points. Ferris did.
So
Braden had kind of I don't want to say an off night, but it wasn't one his better games. He's played better.
And watching him play, like I was talking the last time we were on, and how they really preseason they didn't have any like all-state players, but Braden's definitely an all-state guy. Like he really after seeing him play probably 4 or 5 times now, he's really improved his game. He must have grown like 6 inches in 2 years. Like
You're right.
I remember him as a freshman. He did play football his freshman year, and kind of wish he stayed, but he was a little guy, little back then, and basketball was his sport. So he's a playmaker and leader, and when I'm working the games there, I'm real close to the court, so I can hear them talking, and he definitely leads out there as well. And he's a great overall player, and I can understand why they're doing so well. He's the main point.
Speaking of that, Coach Fazzaro was last night especially. He did a really good job. He could have gone off out of his rocker when some of those calls.
It's tough. Yeah, you got to stay calm, and
you got
pretty much. I was one in the football season. Like I thought my behavior as well. Not the officiating was tough, but that Central game, it took us out of the game a little bit. We ended up winning the game, thankfully.
Yeah, but the commentary
that's not what you want though. So pretty much after that Central game, I don't think we talk to the refs at all. Maybe if there was like one, I would mention one thing and I would let it go.
Game, though,
you just gotta let things go.
The commentary game, though, where the guy actually came running out and knocked.
I think that was the West Warwick game.
West Warwick game.
There was a couple cheap shots in the commentary game too. But the West Warwick game, the kid had like a 20-yard head start. And,
I know.
And it really
what's going on here?
Just went full bore into Landon. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if he was going to like jump on him and actually saw like fighting him or something. So I ran onto the field, like making sure I was ready to pull him off him. And I got a flag for that. And I guess you can get thrown out of the game. Like the other coach wanted me thrown out of the game for that. I was like, I was just checking on my player. Yeah. But you got to, something like that would be ridiculous. I think I really was just checking. I really thought he was going to like try to take him out of the game, which it seemed like he was trying to do. So, but yeah, like getting at officials, it really doesn't help you that much because one of the Westerly players kind of nicely mentioned something to one of the refs early in the game, and I actually think it hurt I think it hurt Westerly, to be honest with you, because it didn't seem like that ref actually listened to him. So and then
they have 2 refs last.
I did notice though the Jansen, you said his name was he on rebounds because he's a good rebounder. He's a big kid. I guess Braden on some of the rebounds would kind of like box out, but kind of grab him a little bit. And I was right there when he told the ref to watch for it. In the very next possession, Braden got called for it. And that was when he was arguing too. Like, what the heck? Like, I've been rebounding here. But so
he's boxing out.
So they gave the ref a heads up, and they got the call when our player did it. I think it backfired on us.
No, not that it makes any difference. Was there a female ref last night?
Yes. I actually thought it was the football, same one as football. But it wasn't though.
Oh, it wasn't.
All right. Well, we got to wrap up.
All right.
Guys.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, we got Cranston Sports Talk coming up.
Oh, great. All right.
Good.
Very excited about.
Yeah. Let's see. What was I going to say?
We will have that all-state show at some point. Where the football guys had basketball. We had 3 of our 4 all-staters have played basketball practice this morning. And then if you want to do the thing with Millie,
we're gonna do something,
and we'll have a special show with the seniors as well, from the team as well.
Okay, will that be on a Saturday or
probably not? Because we're trying to do it. We're trying to do it after like a basketball practice or something. It'll be during the week. It'll be kind of like a special thing. But
I can make it. Let me know.
But we'll see what's going on with it. It's kind of like almost like it doubles as like a little fundraiser, right? Is that what we're doing for the rings?
Trying to get the rings.
We're close. We're real close. We're real close. So.
Awesome.
It's already in the works. We already paid half, and it's all we're good.
So we had 4 first team.
Three. So we had 4 all-staters. 3 were first team, 1 second. Caleb was the second team. We had Calvin Hill, Landon, and Danny were first team, and then the Providence Journal all-state was Caleb was second team, and Landon and Danny were first.
Okay, I thought I saw.
Next year we should start.
I thought I saw Calvin.
You could. I think we should. Like, there's no reason why. Especially if anything, an all South County team. But you put yourself in so many places with Cranston and everything. You might as well do an all state one. Yeah. I think it should because we don't have Massachusetts.
That's fine. That's great with me.
this
Great with me, I'll tell you. That's fit.
this week we had to be like some more schools contacted us and we had to be like nothing till fall.
Yeah.
guys. Nothing new till fall.
You really could do it all. I think that would be really
I'm
cool.
going crazy with 10 schools as it is.
Oh, I know. I can imagine.
So
All right.
All right. So we had a great
Thank you.
great show. And don't forget, if you're just tuning in, make sure that you stream 321 Media. Next, not only next Saturday, but next Sunday, we're having a big show
Super
at
Bowl
CC
show.
O'Brien's. Coach, you going to be there?
I can probably make Sunday. So I'm at a football clinic up in Boston. We're going to some of the staff's going. Some of the staff's going to Baltimore. Some's going to Boston next weekend. So Saturday I'm not available. Sunday will be close. I'd probably be close to getting there. I probably won't make 2 o'clock, but I'll get there.
Yeah,
I'll stop in.
even if you're half an hour late, an hour late.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm leaving. We leave at like 11.
The food is good.
Yep.
Food is great there. All right.
All right.
thank you.
All right,
Well,
Ben,
See you soon.
take it away.